everybody. I'm going to be going over the number one question I always get asked. How are you so young? How do you own a house? Now, I bought the house when I was 21. I'm 23 now. And the number one thing that you have to be willing to do with anything in life, especially if you are trying to buy a house, you have to be willing to sacrifice and you have to be willing to work for it. And by sacrifice, I mean you got to be willing to tell your friends, hey guys, I can't go out, every night. I had to get a second job. I'm trying to buy a house, or you're working mad overtime because you already got a good job, but you're just trying to stack money. And that's really what it is. A lot of people my age are like, they're like, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. Well, yeah, you're never going to be able to afford a house if you keep taking off early from work. You want to go out every weekend and spend $200-300, doing whatever at the club, going out to eat. That's it's a lot of money that you could be sinking in somewhere else. And so the number one thing is you gotta be willing to work for it, and you gotta be willing to sacrifice. Number two, once you're at the point to which you have the ability to start looking at houses. Number one thing that I would say you need to focus on: find a good realtor, one that does not want to make a sale. She wants you to have, he or she wants the right house for you, that you like, your money, you're comfortable with it, everything like that. Two, you need to have a good loan guy, because your loan guy is going to respect what you want to do financially. If you got these sleazy ones that don't care, that just want to make a buck, they're not going to care. They're going to want to try and sell you on a house. They're going to try and upsell you on another home, yada, yada, yada. Especially, I had this encounter, especially if it's a new home builder. The realtors want you to buy the highest end model, whatever. So I personally got my own realtor. She cared. She did a phenomenal job. She made sure there was everything that we could possibly, like all the things we wanted, everything that, the price we wanted to stay in, where we wanted to live, etc., 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 made sure. Loan guy did the same thing, made sure everything was, 100% to the T. And they were working for me, not working for whoever's selling the house, not working for anything. That's a big thing. So you got to work for it. Make sure you're working with the good people. Number three, you need to stick, which this is partially with the loan guy and the realtor. You need to stick to a budget. You can't just go out there and try and find, oh hey, look, this house has everything that we want. I want to be able to take pictures of this for Instagram, and everybody thinks that we're balling and stupid stuff like that. No, you need the rule that I use is, can you make the house payment twice? Like, for example, you make $4,000, say all your bills, including a house payment, would be $2,000. Yeah, that might be a little low, that might be high, depending on where you're living, whatever. But for easy math, $2,000 is your bills, including the house payment. Let's say your bills are $2,000, including the house payment, it's $3,000. So, can you make that payment comfortably? No. Because if you needed to make it twice for whatever reason, you have no extra money. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, save your nest egg, save whatever. What if it hits the fan? What if you need to be able to use all of your savings, and you need some money that is gonna be coming in, and you can count on, your paycheck and everything like that, your salary that you're gonna have, and make sure you have that extra money just in case, because not only if you have to dump your entire savings, but if you're not making that much extra money, what are you really going to be able to save? So, like, what I would, for me, like, if I was going to accept $1,000 a month house payment and my bills were $3,000, which would, add up to $4,000, would, my house payment, including all my bills, was $3,000, and I only had $4,000 a month coming in. Me personally, I would try and find a house payment that's a little lower, or like, wait until I have a higher income. Just I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but in my experience, like, you lose a job, you get laid off, like, you're gonna want, the biggest thing is the bank will never accept less. They will accept more, but they will not accept less. And that is a huge thing that I see with anybody with car payments, with anything like that. Yeah, could you afford, the house if it's $1,600 a month? Yeah, I guess if you have $4,000 a month and your bills are, $2,000 before, you've got $16,000, you got $2,000 extra. But what happens? What happens if you lose the job, or they cut you hours, or something like that? Then you don't have that extra money. So you gotta be willing to stay inside of a budget that you're comfortable with, because what you gotta think about is, eventually the house will go up enough in value to which you will have paid off enough, and you will be able to take the equity out of your home after you sold it, sell it, pay off the remainder of the loan, and then you are able to use that big chunk to go throw it at another house and make your payments bearable again. And then by that time, you'll probably make more money, whatever. I mean, if you're a single income family, your spouse might have money or have a job or something like that, then so you'll be having a lot more income, so you can comfortably afford a bigger home, but you will have that big chunk that you were able to pay off and live comfortably then. You want to be able to save for vacations. You want to be able to, go out on a date night. You want to be able to do all these things. But if you're stretched to the limit because of your house, you're gonna, the term house poor. You don't want to be house poor, because what if something happens to the house? You ain't got money to fix it. So, that's one of those things. You want to have enough money. You want to have enough income after the home within your budget, so you can make sure you can live comfortably, because it's all fun and games until you can't go do anything fun, or can't invite anybody over, can't have parties, can't afford the little things. You can't afford internet, can't afford this or that, because you're barely affording your house payment because they cut your hours, you lost your job, whatever. Like I said, you can always pay more, you can never pay less. So, like, for example, if you're banging it out, you're making $6,000 a month, and you got all this extra money, that you want to do and stuff, you can start throwing the bank $1,000 extra, $2,000 extra if you're comfortable. And putting it towards the principal and paying off the loan like that. So it's fast. So all that, you need to stay in a budget and make sure, like, you got to run the numbers 100 times. That's what I did. I made sure that this was the right move. This was gonna be acceptable for me. It was gonna be something I could do, something I could afford on the long term, because I wanted to have this investment. Like, this house has already gone up in value. So, like, I'm just waiting on it to go up in value some more, and then I'm gonna go find a bigger house that's gonna be able to, we have a little boy. He's gonna turn 1 this month. I want a bigger home. Like, like I'm that kind of guy that I'd much rather like my kid and his friends all be hanging out at my house. Like, you know, everybody comes over, hanging out in the backyard, you know, grilling burgers, people in the pool, kind of stuff like that. Like I like to have all my friends over just kicking it. So, you know, like I knew that I wasn't gonna have this big fantastic home at first. But that's what I'm working for. So, like I said, you gotta be able to sacrifice. You've got to be having some people that are on your side that want to make this happen. And if they're a good realtor and loan person, they're gonna want to make it happen for you. And then you gotta make sure that it's 100% in your budget. And one of those things that within your budget you need to know is you got to factor in possible things that could go wrong. For example, you know, like, or not things necessarily that could go wrong, but like maintenance fees. Does where you're gonna buy have an HOA? You might not figure that in. Some places are really expensive. Mine's $84 a month. Other places are $125 a month that I looked at. There's, you know, how much are the bills going to be? Are the bills going to be more than what you were paying before? Stuff like that. You got to factor all that into your budget because, like, for example, this house electric bill, you know, it can get really high. If we want to keep it real cool in the summer here, you know, summer gets hot, that thing's running all the time. So, you know, it might get extremely high, but I know that we have the money to make sure that we can be good and pay all the bills that are associated with the house, not just the house payment. Now, we covered. I just thought about this right now, and I thought, you know, I should put this information out because I know there's a lot of young guys like me that want to be kicking it in their own house and stuff like that. And nobody was really able to tell me these things. Like my parents owned a home and stuff like that. They bought one and everything like that. But I had been there with a couple times and they went and looked at houses and stuff like that, but I wasn't there for the real nitty gritty, like the talking about money, the talking about this. Obviously, I don't think any parents would have you there, but not a lot of people expect that, and like, you know, the bank is going to want to know everything about you. They're going to want to know where your money's coming from, how long you've been getting that much money. Are you, you know, like what your credit is. You know, if you and your wife or you and your girlfriend, yada yada yada, are gonna come do some like joint on it or whatever, and there's just little things that, like I'm telling you, there's a stack of paper I have like this thick, just from having to sign for this house. And that's not including things that are just like they had me able to sign e-documents and stuff like that. So I'm talking like real tangible papers that I had to put my signature on for this house. So I mean, pretty much, I guess I don't. To me, I don't think there's any more really that I need to say here. But I just felt like there's somebody needed to be able to let people know, because I mean, a lot of people think that you got to be rich or you got to have rich parents. A lot of people tell me it must be nice to have rich parents. I don't have rich parents. My parents are doing well for themselves, but it's no means, this is not sponsored by mommy and daddy. Like, from a young age, my parents told me if I wanted something, I had to go get it myself. Yeah, they're always here to support me and everything like that. Like, they want me to do well and stuff, and stuff like that, but like, they were not like, here you go, son, here's a house, or, you know, here, let me buy you a a big fancy truck so you can go be cool with everybody else. You know, that wasn't how any of that ever worked. This, you know, I wanted to show if it can actually be done, because I know there's not a lot of people who think it can be done at a young age, but it can be done. So, you know, if you guys have any more questions on this, or if I didn't explain something clearly enough, because this wasn't like a real planned thing. I picked up the camera and I thought, you know, this is something that I should probably, you know, just get out there, and let people know about it. But if there's anything I didn't cover clearly, shoot me a message, leave a comment. You know, if there's any other, like, I don't know, things you want me to talk about, like life or how I've handled things, you know, like I said before in other videos, there's gonna be some things going on, be changing. I'm gonna be showing different little things and how I'm trying to DIY everything in this house. There's gonna be a lot of changes, and I'm gonna go over all those, just because I feel like there's not enough average people like me, the average dad on YouTube, that can just give it to you straight, no BS, just how it's gonna be, and that's really what I'm trying to convey here. So, like I said, any other questions? Shoot me a message, shoot me a comment. You know, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you.